Currently, there's a war going on outside. No American is safe from. And what we have is we have companies interjecting themselves into politics to further destroy our way of life, our freedom, and everything that we stand for. And the only thing I can tell you is I'm here to expose them. Let's get into everything. You already know I got to drop these warnings down. I got to drop all the warnings down because if I don't, YouTube will say, he didn't give you fair warning. Well, I'm going to give you fair warning.
Please be mindful this show is for 18 years of age and older. All copyright laws will be respected, but this show is intended to use the Fair Use Act of it. Thank you very much.
Please do remember that the New Right Party channel and the New Red Party show is sponsored by patriots like you, and as long as you're sending these donations, it allows me to create the content that will continue to make these motherfuckers sick. As you were.
Versus the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul. Illuminati wanna take it. Versus the family and my family entertainment and his team no sleep. Flossy high and yeah we made it. The haters keep on hating on the songs that we be making, and I heard they want my soul. Illuminati wanna take it.
CEO, bullshit, paying for the pussy, I endorse it, riding through the city, that's my off. Please do remember that the New Right Party channel and the New Red Party show is sponsored by patriots like you, and as long as you're sending these
What's good, YouTube? We are live and we are back. Today, I will be exposing this fraud of a person named Alexandria Cortez. And for everyone on Instagram, I'm going to make sure I tell y'all right now, I am live on YouTube. Make sure that you go in right now and type in the New Right Party because you're going to miss this show because we're not going to stay live here. All right, so we made sure we went on Instagram. We made sure we told everybody what's going on. And I want to thank everybody for being in the building. Of course, you know, YouTube will always try to stop anyone from speaking the truth. This is just what they do. This is what they do. This is what they're about. Today, I have this fraud of a person named Alexandria Cortez. A puppet, someone put into place. And this is the problem that we have with politics because organizations like this shouldn't be able to exist. They shouldn't be able to do casting calls for individuals who want to fake being a politician. Alexandria Cortez is an actress. She is a numbskull. She is ignorant. She is stupid. There is nothing about her that tells you that she has the ability to govern. The idiot doesn't even know the 3 branches of government. Everything that she says is brought to you by a group of people who are actually her think tanks. Let's get into it. And then after that, we'll be talking about how the United States government is trying to force everyone to take their vaccines so they can make sure they can kill off the population even faster. What is happening in front of you right now is a clear takeover. YouTube and Google will start removing videos that they deem conspiracy theory videos. But then what that does is it removes your free speech. It removes your right to question what's being said. Because if you question it, they can clearly just say it's a conspiracy theory. And then I wonder where the politicians trying to stop it. But I have an announcement to make. I am running for Congress. And I am running for the district in which Alexandria Cortez does not represent. Only 20% of the people came out to vote, even after having a massive machine behind her. Even after faking her Instagram account. Even after faking her Instagram account, faking the followers, buying the followers, and having a whole machine behind her, she still failed to get real votes. No one picked an Indian and a guy from Texas to be congressman inside New York State. So it's clear now I can run from anywhere I want to. I'm running. Let's get into this, though. Let's expose Alexandria the fraud Cortez. I want to shout out to Mr. Reagan. This is, I've seen the video prior to, and I can show you that I've already seen it. I've already posted it on Instagram, so I didn't get this from him. He is not my source, but he's done a lot of the actual work that I intended to do, and he put it together and put a great video together, so I wanted to use him as a source. But I want to show you that I've already posted this on Instagram. But I don't have to go to my Instagram. I can show you the source that I actually got it from, because it's actually her. It's actually them disclosing it, them talking about it. Like Alexandria Cortez is actually talking about it. She's actually speaking about it. Bear with me. I don't want Mr. Reagan to think that I'm poaching his content either. Even though I'm definitely trying to show love and support, I want him to see that here it is right here. Before Alexandria was known as AOC, there was a movement that recruited her. And you can type this in. This is in here. It's an 8-minute video. But this is where I got the this is where I got the actual information that she's actually fraudulent. So it's in here. It was here, and this was, as you can see, days ago I looked at this. I viewed this. Look all the videos that I had to go through in order to get to this video. So I just want to show you that this isn't something that I'm new to. This is something that, you see all the videos, something I've been well aware of.
I'm creating my Wix site.
Something that I've been well aware of.
The brains behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Mr. Reagan.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not really the Congresswoman of New York's 14th Congressional District. She is, essentially, an actress. She's merely playing the part of a New York Congresswoman. I know this sounds crazy, but bear with me. In 2017, a group called the Justice Democrats held auditions for potential congressional candidates that they would run on their platform for various congressional seats throughout the country. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's brother Gabriel submitted her for the role. Now, I've auditioned for many acting roles in my day. I've also cast many of my own projects. I know how this works. If you find somebody with star power, even if they don't 100% fit the part, you go with it. Obviously, AOC has star power. Just look at her. She's a superstar, the most famous person in Congress, maybe ever. Their casting was perfect. Now, I didn't have to go digging for evidence for this, because they freely admit it. They brag about it.
Back in 2016, we put out a call for nominations. We got over 10,000 nominations. Out of those 10,000 nominations, we found Alexandria.
My brother told me that he had set my nomination in the summer, but I was like literally working out of a restaurant, and I was like, there's no way.
A casting call. They had a casting call. They cast Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in the role of Congresswoman. And they
had a casting call for 10,000 individuals. 10,000 individuals. And out of 10,000 individuals, they got the Latina, the person they thought they could use the most, and someone they knew who was a complete moron that would go along with it.
Did this so they could promote their own agenda. In this video, I'm going to make 3 very serious accusations against
and I'm going to tell you that they're all correct.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. 1, she did not actually run for Congress. 2, she is a puppet congresswoman. And 3, the people controlling her are very dangerous. The first point I have already made. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did not run. She was run. What I mean by that is Alexandria did not take it upon herself to run for Congress. She was used by this group, the Justice Democrats, as a figurehead through which they could gain control of New York's 14th Congressional District House seat. These guys not only scripted and produced AOC's beautiful campaign video, but they organized the entire grassroots campaign effort. They handled all the fundraising, the social media, the get out the vote effort. They turned Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez into a brand, and they used that brand to take control of that House seat. The people of New York did not elect a Puerto Rican girl from Brooklyn to represent them. They elected an Indian guy from Texas and a white guy from
Texas,
Tennessee. Now,
and a white guy from Tennessee. I'm making sure that I expose all of these motherfuckers. Those people who ran in Brooklyn, they're gonna have an issue. They're gonna have an issue because I'm gonna tell you something right now. We're going after those seats too. I'm getting some brothers involved, and I'm getting some sisters involved. We are running for Congress, and we're going to take back New York City.
Now, let's move on to my second accusation. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a puppet congresswoman. AOC does not make her own policy decisions. She does not decide which way she votes on legislation. She defers completely to her team. This is a serious claim, I know, but consider the following evidence. This is a video of Corbin Trent, one of Alexandria's top advisors, speaking with Zach Alexi, the Saul Alinsky-style strategy expert who organized much of AOC's campaign. Corbin Trent is now Alexandria's top congressional aide.
And what's the stat that we were looking at earlier about
how much people are making?
Yeah, about low-income people and how big of a percent of our society that is.
40%. Well, people that make $19,999 a year or less. So people that make $20,000 a year or less make up right around 40% of Americans, right? So it's
40% of Americans make less than 20,000.
Yeah. It's like 60.
Now listen to this.
Million people make less than $20,000 a year.
200 million Americans make less than $20,000 a year. That's 40% of this country.
40% of Americans make less than 20,000.
That's 40% of this country.
Do you see? Do you see how this puppet is just regurgitating all of the bullshit that her masters are telling her to say?
These guys are coaching her. They're scripting everything she says. You notice when she goes off script because she suddenly starts babbling incomprehensibly. The girl in this next clip is now the head of the Justice Democrats.
And this is the same person that picked Alexandria Cortez.
Her name, Alexandra Rojas.
Really, I think a big anchor piece is the Green New Deal and talking about it in a frame of social, racial, and economic justice and a mobilization of our economy and our society at the scale of what we did.
And as you can see, she's on the Young Turks, who is clearly a liberal Illuminati puppet show. Same people who were sitting there telling you, feel the burn and go for Bernie. They watched as Hillary Clinton robbed the elections. They watched as the DNC was corrupt. They got rid of Debbie Wiseman Schultz or whatever that slur's name is. They got rid of her. She's still a sitting congresswoman, people. I promise you I'm going to run, I'm going to win, and I'm going to take these people up out of this swamp. Because the problem is there aren't enough people that are brave enough to stand up and say, I'm not taking this anymore. Enough's enough. There's no way in the world this organization should be able to pick who they want to be in Congress. That's not how this should work. That's not how it should work. No one knows where this organization came from, but it just poof came and out of the blue, now they're just putting people in place and in office, and it's got to stop. And the problem is the conservative movement is just idly standing behind and back as they watch the liberals just completely take over all social media platforms and all forms of processing and transferring information, and they're doing nothing about it to combat it or to even find a way to be just as effective as they are.
During World War II.
When I do win my congressional seat, and I am a congressman, I can promise you this: I'm going after Google. I'm going after Facebook. I'm going to put an end to all of this BS. I will make sure that these companies won't be able to exist in this country. I will make sure that these companies won't be able to thrive in this country. So as long as they keep hindering Americans from having their free speech. So as long as they keep trying to steal information and change information, so conservatives aren't heard, I'm going to put an end to it.
New Deal, how's that going to be different?
I think what we're calling for is a mobilization of our economy, of our society on the scale that we haven't seen since World War II.
Like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
It's clear that AOC is being...
That's the reason why you only see this cunt in places where they're friendly, where they are friendly. How many TV interviews do you actually see her giving to any real news organizations? I'm going to wait. Have you ever even seen her debate in any primaries? I'm going to wait. It's because she's an idiot. She's not able to debate the issues because she doesn't know anything about the issues. And I can't wait for them to try to bring up my past and say he's a sexist, he's this, he's that. No, she's a retard. My city loves me. And I'm going to make sure that I bring New York back to its greatness. I'm going to make sure that I give New Yorkers the voice that they're supposed to have. Because these devils and the demons that are working for them are trying to destroy everything that we have.
Coached on absolutely every policy point she makes. And if this is not enough to give you pause, consider that the Green New Deal was drafted in one weekend by her staff.
The document was written over a single December weekend by the staff of freshman representatives, Alexandria-Cortez, and 3 like-minded progressive groups. And they did it all in one weekend. It didn't take them 6 months to figure it out, to study, to get all the information that they could. No. These demons actually got it done in one damn weekend. We spent the weekend learning how to put laws together. It took them a weekend to learn how to put laws together. This bitch is foul. And she's got to go. And I hope that they take everything that I say and they try to use it against me. Because when they say that I call these women bitches, I do call these women bitches. Because they're not women. They don't stand for what women stand for. These people are demons and devils. They're trying to take away everything that they can. And this bitch is for sale. She's only doing what her masters want her to do because she wants to be rich. That's why. You think this bitch who was in the bar, standing on top of bar stools and pouring drinks and shit like that, didn't want to get the fuck up out of her situation? You's a fucking idiot if you don't think so. But she didn't fight for it. She didn't go outside and talk to the people to ask them what's going on. She hasn't done any kind of fucking diligent research on her own because she's a fucking idiot and she wouldn't even know where the fuck to start. You need to hear the truth. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Because when it's final and I am running and I am in there and they say, oh, he said this, he said that, I'm going to say, you damn right. I called that bitch a bitch. I called her a bitch. I called Hillary Clinton a bitch. I call everyone who's fucked up bitches. Even men. They're bitches too. Barack Obama's a bitch. Bernie Sanders is a bitch. I don't hide from what it is that I have to say. They're all bitches. Every last one of them. Bernie Sanders want to be a socialist. I just said this to this fucking moron that was in my fucking Instagram, right? And I had to block his stupid ass. Let me see if he's still in there though. Let me see if he's still in here. I had to block this idiot. He's a fucking moron, okay? Moron wants to talk to me about socialism. Oh, his Instagram is blocked, so I can't even find it now, right? But talks to me about socialism, and he tries to tell me he wants everything I want. You can't want what I want. You're a socialist, you fucking idiot. Then he tells me about a country that it works. And so I said, why don't you go to the country? He said, I would, but they would kill me there. Hey, you fucking moron. They would what? They would kill me there. Why the fuck are you trying to enforce something on the American people when you're the minority? There's only a few of you, and we're the majority, and we don't want that shit. Why? And then I offered him $1,000 to show me your passport and show me that you've been to a socialist country and you studied it and you can tell me how it worked there. He didn't do that either. Because his bitch ass is probably in his mama's basement. I hope you're watching too, you fuckboy. He's probably sitting in his mama's basement or his mama's attic. Or probably just upstairs in his room where he beats off every fucking day in a sock. And instead of him sitting there saying, let me go out and do some research. Let me go out and do some life-changing research. This piece of shit motherfucker sits there and he just sits behind his computer and he promotes the propaganda and the bullshit all day. You know why I can talk about California? I can talk about California because not only have I been visiting there for over 9 years, I've lived there for 3 whole years. 3 whole years. I've witnessed people lose everything that they have to turn to the streets and live in fucking tents. So I can talk about it. You know why? I have first-hand fucking knowledge of it. I'm born and raised in New York City. I was just there a couple weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago. Nothing for me has changed. My whole family lives in New York City. I'm actually going back there because I'm going to take the congressional seat. I'm running for Congress. I'm doing it. I know what's going on. I can talk about it. I'm currently in Colorado. I can talk about Colorado. I've been here for close to a year. I've seen almost everything you can see out here. I've been to the homeless shelters to feed the homeless. We've been to the hotel structures that have homeless families or low-income families in them. We've given them Christmas. I know what's going on. You know why? I get off my ass and I go see about it. That's why. I don't just say, I think. I believe it works here. This fucker told me socialism works, and then he names a country, and then he tells me he can't go there because they're going to kill him. Pure cocksucker.
Alexandria
You lost a follower, probably was him.
Ocasio-Cortez had zero to do with it. As far as I could find, she wasn't even in the room. Now, this is AOC's landmark legislation proposal. It essentially sums up her entire platform and lays out everything she wants to do in Congress. She didn't even participate in the drafting of the legislation. And again, these people aren't even trying to cover this up. They're proud of it. Again, AOC is a figurehead, a mouthpiece. The congressional seat is being operated behind the scenes. Old interviews show that the Justice Democrats initially declared that they wanted candidates of substance. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was a bartender. Now, who is more useful to an evil organization trying to take over Congress? A principled politician who happens to align with their views, or a pawn? A malleable innocent who they can manipulate, somebody completely ignorant of politics who must rely wholly on them to direct all her political positions, statements, and votes. AOC has had enough embarrassing gaffes to know that if she goes off script, it hurts. It can humiliate her. So she has become absolutely dependent on the instruction of her handlers. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seems like, to anyone unfamiliar with her arrangement, like a bit of an enigma. Most of the time she seems to bumble along with no apparent idea about what she's doing. But sometimes she says and does things that seem kind of brilliant.
Let's play a lightning round game. I'm going to be the bad guy, which I'm sure half the room would agree with anyway. And I want to get away with as much bad things as possible, ideally to enrich myself and advance my interests, even if that means putting my interests ahead of the American people. The limits that are placed on me as a congresswoman, compared to the executive branch and compared to, say, the President of the United States, would you say that Congress has the same sort of standard of accountability?
In terms of laws that apply to the president,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's just almost no laws at all that apply to the president.
So I'm being held, and every person in this body is being held to a higher ethical standard than the President of the United States.
That's right, because there are some ethics committee rules that apply to you.
And it's already super legal, as we've seen, for me to be a pretty bad guy. So it's even easier for the President of the United States to be one, I would assume.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
This is initially what got me thinking. Who's pulling the strings here? Who's the man behind the curtain? I went to CPAC last week, as some of you know, in Washington, D.C., and I met a lot of people in politics. Occasionally, somebody would bring up AOC. I always took this opportunity to ask one question. Who's really running the show? Who's the brains behind Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? One guy had an answer. He grabbed his phone, he pulled up a Politico article, and he shoved it into my hand. That's who, he said. The man behind the curtain is this guy, Saikat Chakrabarti. Saikat was AOC's campaign manager and is now her chief of staff. Sycat came out of Harvard and worked as an organizer for the Bernie Sanders campaign. This guy doesn't really have the charisma to run for office himself. He's a little awkward. He might have Asperger's or something like that. He kind of reminds me of Daniel Radcliffe, actually. But don't let his disarming awkwardness fool you. He's been an extremely effective political operative. He's got some terrifying political influences, and he's suspected of committing some severe campaign finance violations. But we'll get into all that later. Sycat Chakrabarty is a sinister character, and hearing more about him later will give you chills. But the man who hired him to head up the Justice Democrats will horrify you, if you can even believe it. The mastermind behind it all, Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks. Now, this may all sound completely nuts, like a big conspiracy theory, but the Justice Democrats was heavily promoted on the Young Turks. We have video evidence from the inception through into the campaigns.
I think they have maxed out on incompetence. So that is why we must choose a new path. And that is what we embark upon today. What we need to do is take over the Democratic Party. And as Martin Luther King said when he did the Civil Rights Movement, he said he was doing it not just to help African Americans, but to save the soul of America. Here we're going to try to save the soul of the Democratic Party by boarding the Democratic Party's ship and taking it over. How are we going to do that? We're going to run strong progressives. From now on, there will be a new wing of the Democratic Party, and it will be the Justice Democrats. We will seek social justice, economic justice, racial justice, and plain old justice.
Now, you might think, if Cenk wanted influence in government, why didn't he just run? If Sycat Chakrabarty wanted influence in government, I mean, despite his awkwardness, why didn't he run? Why put up AOC? The goals of this group are far grander and far more sinister than simply electing a single congresswoman to office. The goals are to take over the Democratic Party, eventually take control of Congress, and in turn, control the United States. And I know all of this sounds completely insane, but they have expressed their intentions very clearly on camera.
We're going to run hundreds of candidates, and we're going to primary all of the establishment Democrats. So we're not going to be like, is it Chuck Schumer? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? No, it's a hard no. But wait a minute now. Are you really going to primary vulnerable Democrats? Yeah, that's the whole point. If in 2018 we don't achieve our grand vision of a wholesale change in 2 years, which is very, very hard.
And he's a complete fucking idiot. A complete fucking idiot. A fucking moron. Look at this piece of shit. You think he gives a fuck about American values? He doesn't. He doesn't. He fucking doesn't. He doesn't care about black people. He doesn't. The whole Run DMC shirt, the whole lie to you shit, this is fucking ridiculous. This piece of shit don't give a fuck about black people. He don't give a fuck about America. This organization is not for Americans. It's not. He just told you, it's plain as day, what they're going to do. It's plain as day. So why the fuck isn't the conservatives doing the same thing? Why haven't we learned from this, and why haven't we mobilized ourselves to put ourselves in this particular situation? Why the fuck do they keep hiding people like Tony X because I'm not PC? The days of PC is over. Because the only thing that's going to stand tall and stand the test of everything is the truth.
But we know that, right? Are you kidding me? If you got 6, let alone 12, let alone 24 people in Congress, you know what would happen in Washington? People would freak the hell out. They'd be like, oh my God, what in the world? These guys that had no money to begin with, no nothing to begin with, just put 24 people in Congress. Look, we want hundreds. We want to replace Congress.
In an article in Politico, one journalist wrote, the group's criteria for picking primary targets is unclear and at times contradictory. Yeah, that's because their goal is not ideological. Their goal is control and power.
Washington doesn't care about beseeching. That's not how it works. They care about power. So primaries are an exercise in power. It's way past time that progressives exercise their power in this country. And that's exactly what these guys are doing.
Waleed Shahid, communications director for the Justice Democrats, has said, you can tacitly support Medicare for All and the Green New Deal, and we still might primary you because there's enough energy in the district to find somebody more charismatic and compelling who is actually going to be a movement builder. Now, you know why they might primary you? because they don't own you. And maybe they found somebody that they think can beat you and that they can control, another AOC. Even Ilhan Omar has said it's quite inappropriate for groups to decide on whether or not somebody deserves to represent their district. Those decisions need to come from the people that we represent. And Ilhan Omar was actually endorsed by the Justice Democrats after she won her primary. The reason more people aren't speaking out against this completely unethical political tactic is that nobody knows it's happening. I mean, you might be asking, if all these guys are so corrupt, if what they're doing is so obviously sinister, why hasn't anybody else reported on it? Their tactics have been extremely different to anything seen in the US before. And that's probably why nobody has copped on to what they're doing yet. Also, mostly what they're doing is annoying Democrats, so conservatives haven't paid all that much attention. The first thing the Justice Democrats did was to try to primary Democratic incumbents. What that means is they would mount primary campaigns against incumbent Democrats, establishment Democrats already in Congress that they didn't like. This, as far as I can tell, was Cenk Uyghur's idea. Basically, the concept was, since many establishment Democrats weren't progressive enough, i.e. socialist, the Justice Democrats would nominate their own candidates to mount a primary challenge. One of the guys they didn't like was Joe Crowley, the guy that they put AOC up against. He had been in Congress for 20 years. Other members of Congress have reached out to AOC to try to convince her to stop primarying establishment candidates, but they're reaching out to the wrong person. AOC does not control the show. They should be trying to convince Saikat Chakrabarti. He's the one AOC takes her orders from. But Cenk and Saikat's plan is not to win a couple of congressional seats. It's total congressional domination.
Look, we want hundreds. We want to replace Congress.
Basically, Cenk's plan in creating the Justice Democrats was to replace all the Democrats in Congress with his own people. Radical leftists, socialists, people who would fall in line with his ideology. And he did it. He actually did it. Now, Cenk comes up with a clever quip from time to time, and he's been able to create a very successful propaganda platform with the Young Turks. But if you've ever watched him, you know he's not exactly a genius. He talks and acts more like a two-bit thug than a political pundit. So how did he do it? He hired geniuses. He brought in the top guys from the Bernie campaign. The Bernie campaign was unprecedented in their grassroots success. They were brilliant. I actually did a lot of research on this, and the keys to their success are equal parts nefarious and creepy, but they are, nevertheless, very effective. And you gotta hand it to Cenk. Bringing these guys on was a brilliant move. Fresh from the Bernie campaign with nothing to do, they must have been itching to tackle a new left-wing political project. So Cenk had this crazy idea. Replace all the Democrats in Congress with his own hand-picked radical left socialists. And he had a brilliant idea. Get the geniuses from the Bernie campaign to do it for him. And they did it. They succeeded. Perhaps not as well as they wanted, but it did work. And that is terrifying. Of the guys that Cenk brought in from the Bernie campaign, the two most important, from what I could find, were Saikat Chakrabarti and Zach Exley. Saikat seems to be the philosophical core of the operation, and Zach Exley is the organizational mastermind. Zach Exley is basically an expert on Saul Alinsky-style community organizing, and both he and Saikat are tech guys. They're very experienced with social media campaigning. Now, they did a great job in 2018, but make no mistake, these guys are not content with their 2018 victory. They're playing a long game here. 2018 was just the beginning. They'll redouble their efforts in 2020, 2022, 2024, at which time I am 100% convinced that they will run somebody for president. For the 2018 elections, the Justice Democrats endorsed 79 candidates. 26 of them won their primary elections. 7 of them won in the general election and are now in Congress. Most of these people's names I can't even pronounce. Raul Grijalva, Ro Khanna, Ayan Presley, Pramila Jayapal, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and Alexandria Ocasio-Coretz. Of these 7, 3 were chosen through the audition process and are, as far as I can tell, puppets of the Justice Democrats, Saikat Chakrabarti, and Cenk Uyghur. These candidates are Ayan Presley, Rashida Tlaib, and Alexandria Ocasio-Coretz. Imagine if they run not 79 candidates, but 200 or 400 or 1,000. At their current rate of success, they would get 88 House seats, and if they improve their techniques, they might get more, including Senate seats. The first screenplay I ever wrote I was 15. It was about a future in which a megalomaniac was trying to take over the US government. He was trying to do this by installing puppet politicians throughout the US Congress, giving him a majority, and in the climactic point in the movie, his puppet president is also elected. So in my screenplay, this villain effectively gains control over the US government through these politicians who are loyal to him. I never thought that this fiction that I wrote as a teenager would ever become reality. It's completely crazy, but it looks like this has actually started to happen. Cenk Uygur is no longer formally associated with the Justice Democrats or AOC's congressional team, but whether or not he still holds influence over these people is unknown. What is known is that these people are dangerous. Zach Exley is a radical left open borders guy who was once a fellow at the Open Borders Foundation, which is George Soros' organization, and he seems to be the least extreme of these guys. Cenk Uygur calls his organization the Young Turks. The Young Turks is named after a group of Turkish revolutionaries formed in 1911 who slaughtered 1.5 million people in the Armenian genocide. So we know where Cenk's influence is at. Saikat Chakrabarti is influenced by this guy, Subhas Chandra Bose. How do we know this? Because he wears this Che Guevara-style shirt with Subhas Chandra Bose's face on it in most of his videos. That seems like a pretty deliberate choice. At first, I actually thought it was his own face. I was like, why is this guy wearing a shirt with his own face on it? That's crazy narcissistic. But then I figured out it was this Subhas guy. So who is Subhas Chandra Bose? He was the violent complement to the non-violent Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, the legendary Gandhi. Whilst Gandhi was trying to expel the British from India non-violently, this guy was like, no, let's start a war and let's kill them all. Actually, it was worse than that. Much, much, much worse. Subhas called himself a socialist, but he is quoted as saying, "Our philosophy should be a synthesis between Nazism and communism." Another important thing that we need to recognize about Subhas is that he was an anti-colonialist. Now, we're not super familiar with this political perspective here in the US, but in India, anti-colonialism causes deep resentment to this day. This is explained in the documentary film 2016, Obama's America. In this film, Dinesh D'Souza explains anti-colonialism and shows how these ideas influenced Barack Obama because, and this is the scary part, the United States is founded on colonialism. To the anti-colonialist, the US is an evil empire that colonized North America. The United States is the enemy and is to be fought, is to be resisted, torn down. This is the guy that Saikat Chakrabarti, AOC's chief of staff, wears on his t-shirt, a pro-violence, anti-colonial socialist who dreamed of a Nazi communist government. This is the man behind the curtain. This is the brains behind AOC. It's definitely scarier to me that he's not a congressman, but that he is the man behind the curtain. There is no accountability for the man behind the curtain. If AOC falls from grace, he can just hire another actress. There are no term limits to being the guy behind the curtain. When I got back from CPAC 6 days ago, Saikat Chakrabarti was in the news for the first time ever. I was surprised because I'd never heard of him until I went to Washington. As it turns out, he has been flagged recently for diverting at least $1 million in campaign donations from the political action committee that he was running to shell companies that he set up. At the moment, it's unclear whether he was embezzling the money or just hiding it from FEC oversight. Either way, it looks like he's in trouble. For a guy who claims to be trying to get money and influence out of government, he doesn't seem to mind leveraging those tools himself. You may have heard something about this. What you probably haven't heard about is AOC's sinister living wage rules. So AOC announced a little while ago that she was going to cap her congressional staff's pay at $80,000 so that she could pay her bottom level staff a living wage and her interns $15 per hour. But here's the thing. AOC's living wage rule allows her staff to dodge financial disclosure laws. Under federal law, congressional employees who earn over $126,000 per year must disclose all of the outside money that they earn. Because AOC's top staff will not be making over $126,000 per year, they will not be subject to this law. I wonder who came up with this brilliant scheme, Saikat Chakrabarti. I know it wasn't the bartender. This team of guys who got AOC elected and who are now pulling the strings of her congressional seat declared at the outset that they were trying to bring integrity into government, transparency, to flush out the corruption. Well, it looks like they're trying in every way they possibly can to hide their own activities. They say that sunlight is the best disinfectant. I say it's about time we pulled the curtain all the way back on this particular wizard and all of his friends. Oh, and just remember, the next time you see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's fake. She's a fraud. She's not real. None of her tweets are actually her tweets. None of her speeches are her speeches. Her answers to questions and interviews, she was coached to give those. She's not a real congresswoman. She's an actress. All right, that's it for me. If you like this episode, hit the like button. If you want to see more like this, please subscribe. And if you hate me, you're probably Psychot Chakrabarti or Jank Uger, because hopefully I just tore down your evil plot for...
He has 4,500 likes plus mines and only 29 dislikes. So the 29 dislikes come from the people that probably voted for this dumb bitch. Let me explain to you something. Just like right now it says 52 people are watching, but I'm watching the screen and it says there are 166. There is a plot to actually keep the words that conservatives say from reaching other conservatives' ears. We have to stand up. I'm asking that. I did post a link for Gangsters for Trump, but I am taking the link down. I am taking the link down, and I will have to be going about that out of my own pockets to get it done, because I will be starting a PAC for my congressional run. I am running for Congress. I am running to end this bullshit. I am running to drain the swamp, and I'm also asking for help. I don't want to just go about my contacts to ask the president for a pardon. I'm going to definitely get a petition done, and I want to be able to have you guys get involved in it. Not only do I need you to sign the petition asking that that I receive this pardon, but I'm asking that you pass the information on. I'm asking that everyone that can, I don't care if it's $2, that you all, every last one of you, if you can, I don't care if it's $1, I don't care if it's 75 cents, that when I post a link for my congressional fund so I can run, that every last one of you not only try your best to donate to it, but you actually pass it on and you pass the word on that there is a real nigga coming to fuck up Washington. I want you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay American. And before I go, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to
you know I'm big on fashion. Check out srgfashion.com for the best suits you can get. Look great being conservative. And also, check out dogspurpose.com for job placement programs as well as vocational training for the future. Stay American, stay great.
Hopefully I get you guys to support. You don't have to be in the district to help out by passing the word around, by passing the GoFundMe information around, by doing everything that you can. All of the money that was allocated to Gangsters for Funds, to Gangsters for Trump, will be straight. I'm just gonna take care of. I'm gonna take down the GoFundMe for it, and I'm gonna take those funds and I'm gonna allocate it towards my congressional run. I have to get in and I have to do something about it. I can't idly just sit here and talk to you guys and Shoshana Sawyer. You know what? I'm gonna stay in here a little bit longer. We got a few more minutes. Usually the show's an hour, so we got about 15 minutes left for the show. It's gonna take you guys to get in with me so we can get this done. We have to get this done, because if we don't, then it's just the future's fucked up for our children, people. The future is fucked up for our children. I'm going to need all the help I can get, because as you can see, this is a machine that I am up against. This will not be a fair fight for me. This will not be an easy fight for me. They will try to talk about my past. Yeah, I sold drugs. I've done some bad things in my past, but at least my past is out there, and I've paid my debts to society for it. And I can't wait for them to try to use my past, because I can show you when they do it, and they will try. I can show you that with the left, there is no such thing as paying your dues to society. They don't believe in being reformed. They don't believe in you actually being able to change who you are. I'm going to go at every single one of these crooks. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to file a lawsuit against the governor of New York State for the late-term abortion bill that he passed. I'll also be filing a lawsuit against New York City and New York State for disenfranchising all of the citizens in New York City that they don't allow to have firearms. You can't tell me in one place something is good for you, but then tell me in another place that it's not good for you there. The reason why crimes are so apparent in Chicago and in New York City is, to be perfectly honest with you, is because there aren't enough gun-toting, law-abiding citizens. It's highly unlikely for a man to say, I'm going to go outside at 2 in the morning and see if I can find an old lady who I can rob and snatch her purse, because he's going to say, maybe there may be someone outside that's a good guy with a gun. It takes around 20 minutes for a police officer to respond to your call. About 15, 20 minutes. It takes you 2 seconds to respond when you have a firearm in your hands, when you're actually able to protect yourself. Now, it's a difficult task because New York has a lot of crazy liberals, but those kumbaya, tree-hugging, Play-Doh needing, comfort zone begging motherfuckers are too afraid to have guns in the first place. And I promise you that the people that does perpetuate any kind of violent acts, it will be on their side. That I can promise you. That I can promise you. I'm going to go in to remove the scumbags. I'm going to go in to fight the fight that our president fought and won, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do it even more I don't want to say something that may seem. Thank you, Jetto. Don't donate to here though. Don't donate to this platform. Don't give them any money, because when you do that, you share money with them. We are no longer going to do that. Well, I will post a GoFundMe, y'all. Just hold all your funds, please. The GoFundMe will come up for my congressional run. Let me make sure that I have everything switched over first before we post it, and then after I do that, you guys can do everything you can, but don't donate shit to this platform, because they do not deserve your money, and they do not deserve to take any money from you whatsoever. Thank you, Jetto the Dawn. I appreciate you, though. No one gives any money to. Don't donate any money to YouTube. Do not do it. I will post. They take money out of this, people. If he just sent $5, that means I'm going to get like $2.30. Don't even do it. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. I will be posting the official GoFundMe for my congressional run. I will be cleaning up and shaving myself and getting dressed up and putting a promotional video out there, so we can actually get ads for it as well, and put it out there so we can make sure that we go about this the correct way. We have to stand up to change what's happening, because if we don't, then the future is bleak. The person from the Young Turks, who he already told you what that means and what it stands for, isn't on our side. He isn't. He's an operative who wants to come in, who wants to destroy this country. He doesn't care about it. He doesn't care about it. This motherfucker wants Sharia law. All of these women that they voted into Congress are supposed to be Muslims are not Muslims. And it's bad for you to say that, because they'll tell you only God knows, only Allah knows. But I can tell you what I do know. That no Muslim, no true believing Muslim would stand behind anyone that they know are killing babies. Period. These people are not who they say they are. They aren't Muslims. They aren't Christians. They are doing the devil's work. They are children of Satan. That's what they're doing. This is what this is about. This isn't about helping you. This isn't about helping me. This is about destroying our way of life. I was asking, I was talking to my fiance, and I said, something needs to be done, because there are polygamists, people who go by their religion, and they believe that they can actually have multiple wives. Why is it that there is such thing as gay marriage, but you can't be a polygamist? Because polygamy promotes procreation. If you're a man and you have 3 wives, those women will have babies for you. You will sire more children. This gives you the opportunity to further your lineage. And I'm not against it. I'm not against anyone I'm not against any woman who decides that she loves a man so much that she would allow him to take on another wife and love her just the same. And they would raise each other's children and help each other out. I'm not against that, because it's an act of procreating. Anyone that is outside reproducing humans, I have no gripe with you whatsoever. So as long as you're not forcing anyone to do anything inappropriate. But here it is, they allow gay marriage. For men to butt fuck each other, there is no procreation there. The human race does not continue with that. When women are just looking each other down and there's no man to come behind them and put a good shaft in them to make sure that they are impregnated, that's just a bunch of licking and rubbing. If you rub something hot enough, it catches on fire. I'm going to step in and do something about that as well. Because that's a clear sign of discrimination. They're discriminating against people who are trying to procreate. They are trying to stop people from procreating. This is about reducing the human population and controlling it. Reducing it to an amount that you can actually control. And I'm not standing for it. And I'm going to put it into it. All the hypocrisy, all of the lies, all of the games. And the dude who runs the Young Turk, I will win. And I'm coming for your ass too. I'm coming for your whole platform. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Shoe program, motherfucker. 23 lockdown. King Kong ain't got shit on me. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. Every last one of you. You're not going to be safe. There will be no safe space for you. Because we know what you just started. And I'm going to make sure that people like you aren't able to do this shit again. I'm going to go in and I'm going to break up this whole Justice Democrats bullshit. And we already see the allegations being propped up against them, because we can understand that the machine that's in place also isn't going to allow them to just take over the machine. The misappropriation of these funds will go further than the man that's behind the curtain, because he's not the man that's behind the curtain. He's the man that's holding the strings of the curtain. He knows who's behind the curtain. So whether it's him or it's the guy from the Young Turks, one of them motherfuckers are going to have to fall, and fall very deep. Very, very deep. I want you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, stay American. And I will try to tomorrow is Saturday, but I'm going to make up for you guys for, I have sickle cell. I deal with a lot. I go through a lot of pain. Hopefully by Sunday, I'll be in good spirits to be able to, get a more intense workout in. But I will be trying to go to the gym tonight, try to get some of the stress out, and just try to do some arms and chest and stuff like that, and just stay away from my legs where I'm currently in the most pain. But I will be doing a show tomorrow morning for you guys to make up for it. I will be here Sunday to make up for the shows that we missed, so we can get back into everything. We're going to get back into the swing of things, and we're going to pick up the show for what it was. And I'm running for Congress. That's my intention. That's officially my intention. We will be posting a petition to ask the president to pardon me for past crimes. That way Congress can't try to inject a bill that would hinder me from running currently. Because currently now, with my federal felony, I can actually run for Congress because I can vote. So I'm going to need you guys. I'm going to need every last one of you. I'm going to need the largest grassroots movement ever assembled by any conservatives on this planet. I'm going to ask that every person that is not a conservative that's watching, that supports me, and you're from the hood or you're from the inner city, I might ask you to support me too, because I'm doing this for you. If you don't allow me to go in there and put my dick on the table, then I'm gonna tell you something right now. We're all fucked. I don't want to be the guy that just sits here on YouTube and that just talks and 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 talks. Because for some people, this is what they want. They're comfortable here and they're making money here, and this is what excites them. But for me, this is not what's going to change this country. This will not change the country. We can expose things as much as we want, but it can fall on deaf ears when we have people like Google who can censor the things that you say and the information that you present. So I have to get in there, and I have to roll up my sleeves, and I have to put an end to it all. Again, stay safe, stay healthy, stay American, and remember, fuck the other side, bitch, we don't care.